Hey everyone, Dr. Skylar Baku here, and in this video, we want to talk about vitamin D, okay? D as in dog, all right? And you probably heard me talk about a lot about it and suggest that people should take this a lot. And there's a lot of reasons why. So, in a recent study, researchers used a complex computer prediction model to determine that the intake of vitamin D3 and calcium would prevent 58,000 new cases of breast cancer and 49,000 cases of colorectal cancer annually. Okay, that's in the United States and Canada. So additionally, the researchers' model also predicted that 75% of deaths from these cancers could have been prevented with adequate intake of vitamin D and calcium. Okay, that's D3. So this study was reported by Dr. Cedric Garland at the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine. Okay, a placebo-controlled study on vitamin D and cancer showed that vitamin D can cut overall cancer risk by as much as 60%, 60. Okay, that was reported by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in June 2007. Okay, almost 13 years ago. Okay, optimizing your vitamin D levels could help you prevent at least 16 different types of cancer, including pancreatic, lung, ovarian, prostate, and skin cancers. And that was reported by Dr. William Grant. Okay, so 30% of cancer deaths, which amounts to 2 million people worldwide and 20,000 in the US, could be prevented with higher intakes of vitamin D. Okay, it's super simple and it's pretty darn cheap too, considering what it's doing. All right, and so you can predict mortality rates just by looking at vitamin D levels. And here was the math in those studies. So ICU patients with sufficient, so enough vitamin D, had a 16% mortality rate. ICU patients with insufficient, so not enough vitamin D, 35% mortality rate. And then ICU patients with deficient, so not even just not enough, but deficient vitamin D, 45% mortality rate. And that was reported by the New England Journal of Medicine in 2009. All right, this stuff's been around for a long time now, so it's not new news. And if you're not on vitamin D right now, if you haven't checked your vitamin D levels, do that right away. So higher levels of vitamin D have also shown to reduce your risk by up to 50%, 50 or greater, in the following cancers: breast, colon, pancreatic, rectal, kidney, uterus, ovarian, prostate, esophageal, bladder, lung, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and multiple myeloma. And that was reported by The Lancet in November 1989. Okay? This research has been around for a long time, folks. So, if you're not already taking some vitamin D, let's get those levels up, okay? And some other research I've read too in the past was that if we can all get our levels of vitamin D to at least 40 or higher on the blood work, we could reduce cancer by 76% in 4 years. All right? I like vitamin D levels to be at least 50. I think that's optimal. Unless we're dealing with something like autoimmune or cancer or some major chronic illness, then our vitamin D level should be closer like into the 80s. Okay, so that's what I recommend for those types of issues. So besides that, how much vitamin D should we be taking? David Williams, the guy who was doing a lot of research that I was quoting, suggested that he published this in 2009, and they're pretty reasonable. So he says that children under 2 should be taking 1,000 units a day. Children over 2,000 units a day. And if you're 80 to 130 pounds, up to 3,000 units a day. 130 to 170 pounds, 4,000 units a day. And if you're over 170 pounds, 5,000 units daily. So, these are pretty good recommendations. I think, adults, we should be taking at least 5,000 units a day. And, in the winter months, sometimes I'll even just take 10,000 units a day, because we're typically not going to be getting enough sunlight at the proper angle to be making enough vitamin D anyway. So I use mostly now Biotics Research. They make it's called BioDK emulsion. It's an emulsified form of vitamin D, which is just superior to other vitamin D products in every way, just because it's going to be much more absorbable. You have to take less to get your own levels up. So again, it's just going to give you more bang for your buck, more miles per gallon, so to speak, than especially like a tablet or even a liquid gel. So this is a liquid suspension, and it's easy to take for both kids and adults. Again, usually when you can get a liquid form, it's easier for the kids to take. So if you're not already taking vitamin D, let's talk about it. If you haven't gotten your vitamin D levels checked, that's also step number 1. Okay, but it's safe to say that we should be taking some just on a regular basis. Again, according to that chart that I gave you as far as with the weight and ages and things like that. But getting it tested on the blood work, which I think it costs maybe like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, gives us an even more accurate decision on how much we should be taking. Because if we're super low, I don't want to be taking the maintenance amount at 5,000, you know? So that's why I like to use the blood work as well, okay? So if you guys have any questions about that, if you're not taking vitamin D, you know, you're looking to, again, I love that Biotics. I've used in other brands like Orthomolecular and things like that, because I like the vitamin D, vitamin K combo. Just, again, tend to be healthier and absorb even better. So if you guys have any questions about that, Dr. Skylar Baku with Baku Chiropractic and Functional Medicine. Our number is 720-998-7956. Thanks so much for watching.